Mission objectives are to extract the child soldier's commander and their captive, the General's #2. This child soldier platoon decided to break away from the Mbeli militants. They took the #2 captive and have occupied an abandoned village. Start by checking that location on your map. Boss, the child soldiers will treat you as an enemy, but they're just kids. See that they don't get hurt. Reconnaissance is best conducted from high vantage points. I've marked a good spot on your map. Take a look at your iDroid. Even a child can pull a trigger. Okay, that's the General's brother, his #2. Get him out of there, boss. The worsening conflict robbed the villagers of the peace they once had. They evacuated rather than risk living on a battlefield. The place became a ghost town. Nowadays, it's occupied on and off as an outpost by one or another of the factions. Roger.
kana muvutuka bo tafamono muke pangi ya General V muke muntu ya nabo V nge mewaka yo V mifwaka General muvutililaka yandi nina esalaka ikuti na mono izinga na mono ya vimba nisasaka shansi nina inuana yangu nyusi sana yangi eketu klaka asonga ngetu tuna yandi mumuntu pesaka bana nyuso ikesa ya kunwanisa General atabo kukaka wala ya kaka.
This is B-Quad. Arriving shortly at LZ.
Utukaka nakuta General Kusaka wala mtangu mugu mwana endi kumisaka.
This is B-Quad. On station at LZ.
Wala masasi tangu okangaka mwana nene na neso nima usingaka mwana mama.
All that's left is to extract the commander. Beyond there is outside the mission area. Still just a child, about the same age as those kids at the diamond mine. They may be small, they're armed just like any other soldier. Watch yourself, boss. Another group of child soldiers. No, must be a squad they had out on patrol. Security will be tighter now. Watch yourself. CQC on those kids. Limited to throw. Makes it too hard to catch them in a restraining hold. Might not be that many of them, but don't get careless. They'll shoot on sight. Stay low and avoid combat at all costs. Hide and seek at what you're best at. Show them how the game is played. There might not be that many of them, but don't get careless. They'll shoot on sight. Stay low and avoid combat at all costs. Hide and seek at what you're best at. Show them how the game is played.
Fire at will.
Contract comes from the Mbeli rebel militants. That's right. That general's fighters. Recently, one of their child soldier platoons staged an insurrection and split from the main group. Thing is, they took a hostage with them. The general's brother. His number 2. The contract is to extract both that prisoner and the leader of the renegade platoon. The message reads, "I love my brother. You must bring him back to me alive." It also says this about the leader of the child soldiers. He is an excellent soldier. I want to persuade him to rejoin the ranks of the righteous. Sounds a little too forgiving for the man who ordered those kids dead at the mine. I wonder what kind of persuasion the general has in store. With that in mind, here are your objectives. First, rescue and return the general's number 2 as requested. Second, extract the renegade leader, and we'll keep him at Mother Base. In other words, extract both targets out of the region. Good luck, boss. He's the rescue target. The second in command of the Mbeli rebel militants. He's the younger brother of the general, but he's only distinguished himself these last few years. Still, I think he got himself captured by a bunch of children. Unless he went with them of his own accord. Nah. extract him. Roger. Mission complete, boss. Boss, about how we report this one to the client. I'll tell them we took heavy resistance from the renegade platoon and the hostage was killed in the firefight. Also, their leader wouldn't let himself be taken alive. I doubt the client will pay us for this one, but we got a big enough reward from the General's number 2 instead. And as for the number 2, he's saying he wants to join Diamond Dogs. I guess he knows what that means for him. He said, if I'm working for you, I can be number 2 or number 200 for all I care.
Boss, we have an emergency. Many of our staff are falling ill. At first it seemed like a common cold, but before we knew it, blisters started popping up on their chests and... Damn it. I'll fill you in at the ACC. Just get in the chopper.
Look closely. Those are the symptoms of the infection on Mother Base. The blisters on the body were full of tiny worms. Parasite larvae, most likely. But we couldn't find any adults. It doesn't seem to mature in the body, like a spargatum. We don't know the root of infection, or what causes symptoms to develop.
Boss, do you remember seeing these symptoms before? The bodies floating around in the oil facility, the bedridden test subjects at the Devil's House. This epidemic looks just like what we've seen on our hunt for Cypher.
So this is the weapon of mass destruction Cypher was working on in Africa.
Boss, the situation is urgent. We need to quarantine the infected and contain the pathogen. Priority now is to prevent more casualties. But the problem is, how do we tell who's infected? During the incubation period, we have no way of knowing who's clean. You'll have to try and guess who's infected before they go symptomatic and quarantine them. It'd be easy if we just knew the route or vector of the infection. From now on, if you even suspect a staff member's infected, use your iDroid to order them into quarantine. Given the situation, the men won't submit to quarantine just because I or the medical team tell them to. They will listen to you. Of course, it's just a temporary measure until we find a permanent solution. But at least they'd be in solitary isolation so they won't infect each other, and we get the mental care they need. If we do nothing, we'll only lose more people. We have no choice. Boss, open your iDroid. I'll explain how to quarantine staff members suspected of infection. Go to the Mother Base menu and select Staff Management. First, take a look at the quarantine facility we've set up. We'll isolate anyone who's already symptomatic at the quarantine facility. But we have to expect that there are multiple staff who are infected, but asymptomatic. So how do we identify them? At present, we have no way to tell them apart. But there has to be something for us to go on. If you notice anything, reassign staff you suspect are infected to the quarantine facility. We'll monitor them and then contact you if there's a change in their condition. Correctly quarantining these asymptomatic infected will reduce the number of new infections. You should continue with your missions as usual. If Cypher is behind this, going after them should help us determine the root cause of this epidemic. Also, until we identify the pathogen, we can't fire or dispatch any staff. We cannot let this thing spread. Boss, get to the bottom of this fast. We're counting on you. Boss, a new job's come in. It's a hit. I'm the human trafficker who sent Shabani and the others to Nzoya Badia Bulu, where you ran into Skullface. The thing is, this guy might know something about the disease that's going around Mother Base. The symptoms are similar to the ones we saw at that factory. Start by checking the mission details on your iDroid. Target is a PF logistics officer who works as a human trafficker on the side. The client wants him dead. He's currently on the run somewhere on the savannah with bodyguards. Unfortunately, we don't know what route they're taking. All we have to go on is a coded transmission sent by the PF at the Ditati abandoned village. It appears to be a workup of the target's security plans, but to decipher it, we'll need an intel file with the encryption key. This key should be at the comms facility at the Ditati abandoned village. Check your iDroid to see what the target looks like, as well as the location of the village. Find the route. Find the man.
Be careful down there, boss.
village. That's where the enemy PF's coded transmission came from. There's got to be a transmitter there somewhere. It could have the intel file containing the encryption key. Look for an antenna.
Where are your friends?
Alles gespannt, das zit hier. We hebben een aanval in actie. Alle heren, antwoord voor gevecht.
He's coming too. Roger that. Extract him. Subject on board. Leave the rest to us. Roger that. You gotta extract him. He's coming too. Roger that.
Boss, leave the intel files till later. The enemy's on combat alert.
Boss, that's a serious injury. It won't heal on its own. You'll need to treat it with first aid. Boss, why did you kill him? target is moving across the savannah. Find him and eliminate him. Unfortunately, we don't know what route they're taking. Find the route. Find the man. All we have to go on is a coded transmission sent by the PF at the Ditati abandoned village. It appears to be a workup of the target's security plans, but to decipher it, we'll need an intel file with the encryption key. This key should be at the comms facility at the Ditati abandoned village. Check your iDroid to see what the target looks like, as well as the location of the village. You made it to the Ditati abandoned village. That's where the enemy PF's coded transmission came from. There's got to be a transmitter there somewhere. It could have the intel file containing the encryption key. Look for an antenna.
Where are your friends?
Luister gou hier. Jy weet ek het hierdie met van bokke tot spanne 2 weke gelede besoek. En vir die Suid-Afrikaanse bandstaat. Ja, nasies binne die nasiestaat. Veel en erken dit, maar dit is so goed. Jy het wonder wat onafhanklikheid word. Of in ander woorde, jy het die regte as wat is so naam trek? Die hele wêreld is voor naam.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us. Boss, get down. The enemy sniper. Stay low and crawl along the ground. That should enable you to sneak past enemies.
Isso. Isso, mano.
Boss, that prisoner you extracted was a civilian abducted by the target. He says the trafficker is trying to make contact with a human rights NGO. He hopes that by handing over his list of buyers, they'll guarantee his safety. I don't get it. Why an NGO? Why run to someone else for help? Picked up an intel file, huh? According to this information, the target is headed for Gazeba Camp. We also have his movement route. I've updated your map. Use the target's route to locate him. Eliminating him will be much harder if he makes it to the Gazeba Camp. Take him down on the savannah.
Fire at will.
Subject is in. Subject on board. He's coming too. Roger that. You gonna extract him? Subject on board. Leave the rest to us. He's coming too. Roger that.
This. ¿Quiere acá?
Okay, subject is in. Subject on board. Leave the rest to us. He's coming too. Roger that. That's Gazeba camp. The target's headed there. Eliminating him will be much harder if he makes it to the Gazeba camp. Take him down on the savannah.
Boss, the target's getting away. Don't let him make it to that outpost. Hurry!
Roger that. Subject on board. Leave the rest to us. Boss, the target's made it to his destination. He's inside an enemy outpost. That leaves us no choice but to eliminate him in the outpost. And it won't be easy. That's Gazeba camp. You'll find the targets there. The security forces must know something about the targets. Why not? He's coming too. Roger that.
Speak.
Where are you? Dat zit weer begeleid. Alle eenheden. Stuur alle verstapbare mannen klaar als ze versterken. Onmiddellijk. Uit.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us. You gonna extract him? subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Down the end. All this false competing for the year.
Approaching position. He's coming too. Roger that.
This is Pequod. I have arrived at marker. Following SOP. We'll move to nearby LZ and stand by. This is Pequod. Have arrived at LZ. We'll stand by.
Roger.
This is Pequod. Have arrived at LZ. We'll stand by. P-Quad. Approaching position. This is P-Quad. I have arrived at marker. Cover fire. In hot. Target acquired. In hot. In hot. Watch out, boss. Target acquired. In hot. P-Quad is in hot. Find cover.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
This is P-Quad. No targets remaining. Ending attack run and we'll stand by at LZ. This is P-Quad. Have arrived at LZ. We'll stand by.
Chef hier, de Julian. Onder aanval. Geen teken van die vijand niet. Oor. Dat is CFP, begrijp. Eerst wachtzaam in. Rating vijand uit. Uit.
This is P-Quad. Approaching position.
Alles gespannen, dat zit hier. Wordt alle vuur op die vijandhelikopter.
This is P-Quad. I have
Target's made it to the enemy post. It won't be easy, but we still need to eliminate him. The post's location is on your iDroid.
They're working for one of the bigger PFs, the Contract Forces of Africa, CFA for short. These guys are all business. Mercenary work is strictly about the money to them. Either way, they're no threat to us.
He's coming too. Roger that.
This is P-Quad. Taking too many hits. I gotta pull out.